Alien mercenary teams failed this mission. Then humans showed them how it's done. Major Alexis Cross stared at the holographic display floating above Ghost Company's tactical table, her weathered hands gripping the edges of polished metal. The image rotated slowly. Nexus Station, a sprawling fortress of twisted corridors and armored plates, suspended in the void like a mechanical tumor. 5 teams, she said, her voice cutting through the ship's ambient hum. 5 failures. The display shifted, showing debris fields where alien vessels had attempted their assaults. Cross's gray eyes tracked the wreckage. The Kitharan marauders lasted 18 minutes before their boarding torpedoes were vaporized. Zellan mercenary group made it inside, found their bodies in the outer maintenance shafts, torn apart by automated defenses. Sergeant Kane Bishop leaned forward, scarred features illuminated by the blue glow. What about the others? His voice carried the mechanical precision that came from 20 years of controlled explosions. The hegemony elite went in guns blazing. Standard alien shock tactics, overwhelming firepower, no finesse. Cross manipulated the display, showing plasma burns scarring the station's hull. Mordan's defenses adapted within the first wave. The quantum infiltrators tried stealth, made it deepest 40% penetration before the station's AI locked them down and vented them into space. Corporal Iris Yamato's fingers drummed against her rifle case. And the 5th team? Her question emerged barely above a whisper, but everyone heard it. Dissolution Guild, professional reputation spanning 3 systems. Cross's expression darkened. Lasted 6 hours. Bodies were returned with a message from Mordan, send someone competent next time. Private Dante Corrig hunched over his portable terminal, fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. Sir, I've been analyzing their approach vectors and tactical communications. Each team followed standard alien military doctrine: overwhelming force, minimal adaptability. His young face twisted with concentration. They all made the same mistake. Which was? Cross asked, though she already knew the answer. They underestimated human tactical flexibility. Corrig's screen flickered with data streams. Every alien military force operates on rigid hierarchical commands. When their initial strategy fails, they can't adapt fast enough. Bishop's scarred hands moved across his demolitions kit, checking charges and timers with mechanical precision. Standard alien thinking: if the hammer doesn't work, get a bigger hammer. He looked up at Cross. We're not hammers, are we, Major? Cross smiled grimly. No, Sergeant, we're scalpels. She activated a new display showing the hostages, 12 figures in a sterile holding facility deep within the station's core. Among them, a young woman with patrician features and defiant eyes. Lyanna Thex, daughter of Trade Union Executive Council Chairman. Primary objective. Secondary objectives include 11 other high-value targets from various systems. The holographic station rotated, revealing structural weaknesses invisible to alien tactical analysis. Cross pointed to a series of maintenance conduits threading through the outer hull. Alien crews can't fit through access ways designed for automated systems. They're forced to use main corridors where Mordan's defenses concentrate. But we can, Yamato observed, her sniper's eye already calculating angles and sightlines through the station's infrastructure. Exactly. Cross's tactical mind dissected the fortress like a surgeon examining a patient. We go in quiet, stay small, adapt to changing conditions. While alien forces smash themselves against reinforced positions, we flow around obstacles. Corrig's terminal chimed softly. Major, I've isolated their communication protocols from the previous attacks. Standard quantum encryption, but with a critical flaw: they're using unified command frequencies. If I can tap into their network. Do it. Cross's approval came without hesitation. Bishop, I want entry charges prepared for multiple breach points. Yamato, study their defensive positions and identify sniper nests. We're not going in like every other team that failed. The briefing continued for another hour, each team member contributing specialized expertise that no alien force possessed: human adaptability, individual initiative, and the capacity for improvisation that had made Ghost Company legendary across 3 sectors. Corporal Iris Yamato's enhanced optics focused on the holographic reconstruction, dissecting each failed assault with predatory patience. The tactical display showed 5 different approaches, all ending in spectacular failure, a graveyard of alien tactical doctrine. "Beginning analysis," she murmured, her voice carrying the measured cadence of a professional killer. Her fingers manipulated the hologram, isolating the first assault. Kitharan Marauders, Day 1. They came in heavy 12 boarding torpedoes launched simultaneously at the station's main docking array. The display showed sleek cylindrical craft screaming toward Nexus Station's armored hull. Yamato slowed the playback, her trained eye catching details alien tacticians had missed. Standard Kitharan strategy, concentrated assault on a single point to overwhelm local defenses. They never adapted when the station's point defense systems activated. Bishop leaned closer, studying the defensive fire patterns. "Those aren't random turret placements. Mordan designed overlapping fields of fire specifically to counter massed assault tactics. His demolitions expertise recognized the defensive engineering. See how the weapons platforms create kill zones. Any force approaching in formation gets shredded." Korig's fingers danced across his interface, extracting tactical data from recovered Kitharan communications. Their command structure couldn't adapt fast enough. By the time their assault leader realized the initial strategy had failed, 70% of their force was already destroyed. His analysis revealed the rigid hierarchy that doomed alien forces. No individual initiative, they kept following orders even when those orders were killing them. Yamato advanced to the second failure. Zellan Mercenary Group, Day 3. They attempted stealth infiltration through maintenance shafts. The display showed alien forms squeezing through narrow passages designed for automated systems. But look at their body structure. Zellans are naturally bulky, designed for their high-gravity homeworld. They couldn't move quietly through confined spaces. The hologram tracked the mercenaries' progress through the station's bowels, their movement triggering motion sensors and thermal detectors. They made noise, generated heat signatures, and left biochemical traces that human-designed sensors would never catch, but Mordan's adaptive AI learned to recognize within hours, Yamato observed. "Alien biology working against them," Cross noted. "They can't help but leave traces we wouldn't." The third assault drew Bishop's attention. Hegemony, elite professional soldiers with a reputation spanning 12 systems. The display showed heavily armored alien warriors in powered exoskeletons, wielding plasma rifles and assault cannons. They went for overwhelming firepower, standard shock tactics. Yamato slowed the playback as the hegemony force breached the outer hull. Watch their formation, perfect textbook execution of a breach-and-clear operation, but Mordan's defenses adapted within minutes. The station's automated systems reconfigured, channeling the attackers into prepared kill zones. They couldn't improvise when their manual got them killed. Korig highlighted communication intercepts. Their commanders kept issuing tactical updates based on doctrine written centuries ago. When the situation changed, they had no flexibility to respond. His analysis revealed the fatal flaw in alien military thinking. Human forces would have improvised immediately small unit tactics, individual initiative, adaptive response. The fourth attempt made Yamato's professional instincts twitch. Quantum infiltrators, the best stealth specialists in known space, they made it to 40% penetration before detection. Her respect for their skills was evident, even as she analyzed their failure. Their mistake wasn't tactical, it was psychological. The display showed ghostly figures moving through the station's corridors, their advanced camouflage systems rendering them nearly invisible. They relied entirely on technology, Yamato continued. When Mordan's AI adapted their sensors to detect quantum distortions, the infiltrators had no backup plan. No human intuition, Cross observed. They couldn't fall back on natural stealth skills when their gadgets failed. The final failure chilled even Ghost Company's hardened veterans. Dissolution Guild professionals with 3 centuries of operational experience. Yamato's voice carried grudging admiration for their reputation. They lasted 6 hours inside the station before complete mission failure. The holographic reconstruction showed a methodical assault, each guild member demonstrating exceptional skill and coordination. They did everything right according to conventional tactics, Yamato analyzed. But they underestimated human psychological warfare. The display showed the guild's final moments, confused communications, tactical breakdown, and systematic elimination. Mordan didn't just defeat them militarily, she realized. He broke them psychologically, turned their strengths against them. Bishop studied the defensive patterns with professional interest. Every alien force followed predictable tactical doctrine. Mordan's been learning from each attempt, adapting his defenses to counter standard alien military thinking. His scarred face showed grim appreciation. But he's never faced human tactics. Korig's analysis confirmed their advantage. Cross-referencing all 5 failures shows a pattern: rigid command structure, predictable responses, inability to adapt when initial plans failed. His young face showed fierce determination. They all fought like machines. We fight like humans. Yamato's enhanced optics focused on the station's weak points invisible to alien tactical analysis. None of them recognized the psychological dimension. They saw a fortress to conquer, not a puzzle to solve. Her sniper's patience would serve them well in the coming assault. Sergeant Kane Bishop's respirator fogged as he pressed against Nexus Station's outer hull, feeling the structure's vibrations through his gloved palms. The station's bulk blotted out the stars, a mechanical predator suspended in the void between systems. "Contact," he whispered into his comm, his voice barely audible through the tactical network. The adhesive charges in his demolitions kit felt reassuring against his ribs, precise tools for precise work, nothing like the crude explosives alien forces favored. Beginning hull breach. His scanner painted the station's interior in ghostly blue, revealing structural supports and defensive systems invisible to alien sensors. Bishop's 20 years of experience read the metal like a book: stress points, weak joints, places where careful application of force could open doorways instead of triggering alarms. The shaped charge kissed the hull with surgical precision, its molecular disruptor field weakening atomic bonds rather than creating explosive force. Bishop counted heartbeats as the charge worked, feeling the metal grow soft under his fingers. Breach in 30 seconds. Yamato's voice crackled through the comm from her overwatch position 300 meters away. External sensors show no reaction. Your entry point remains clean. Her enhanced rifle could reach out and touch threats at ranges that would make alien snipers weep with envy. Bishop's blade slid through the weakened hull like cutting warm butter, opening a gap just wide enough for human shoulders. He pressed himself through the opening, combat instincts cataloging threats and opportunities in the maintenance corridor beyond. The passage stretched away into darkness, filled with pipes and conduits that would have trapped bulkier alien forms. "Inside," he reported, his voice carrying professional satisfaction. "Beginning infiltration route Alpha." Cross's tactical network painted his position in real time, her command interface tracking all 4 team members as they penetrated the station's outer defenses. "Copy, Bishop. Korig, you're up." Private Korig materialized beside Bishop like a ghost, his youthful features hidden behind advanced optics and signal-dampening gear. His fingers found interface ports that alien hackers would never recognize. Human-designed systems spoke a different electronic language than the standardized protocols most species used. "Accessing local network," Korig whispered, his portable terminal interfacing with the station's infrastructure. Lines of code scrolled across his display, each command adapted for human cognitive patterns rather than alien logical structures. Their security assumes alien infiltrators' binary thinking, hierarchical responses. Bishop watched the corridor while Korig worked, his carbine covering approaches that alien weapons would find awkward to negotiate. The maintenance passage twisted and branched like a maze, designed for automated systems rather than organic infiltrators. How long? 60 seconds, Korig replied, his fingers dancing across haptic interfaces. I'm not breaking their security, I'm convincing it that we belong here. His approach represented quintessentially human thinking deception rather than confrontation, adaptation rather than overwhelming force. The station's defensive systems registered 4 new maintenance drones beginning routine inspections of environmental systems. Korig's infiltration programs mimicked the electronic signatures of automated units, camouflaging Ghost Company's presence within the station's own operational background. Access granted, Korig announced softly. I have maps, patrol schedules, and defensive protocols. Uploading to the network now. Bishop's tactical display updated with detailed schematics, showing guard positions and sensor coverage with precision no alien force had achieved. Outstanding work. He began moving deeper into the station, his combat boots silent on metal decking designed to carry service robots. Yamato's overwatch position shifted as she tracked their progress, her rifle's scope painting targets through the station's viewports. 2 guards in Corridor 7, standard patrol pattern. They'll reach your position in 4 minutes. Bishop checked his chronometer and adjusted his movement accordingly. Understood, moving to intercept position. His tactical thinking flowed like water around obstacles, finding paths alien minds would never consider. The first sentry died without knowing he was under attack, Bishop's vibroblade finding the gap between helmet and armor with surgical precision. The alien's nervous system shut down before pain signals could reach his brain, consciousness fading into darkness as Bishop lowered the body silently to the deck. 1 down, he reported, already moving toward the second guard. His approach utilized angles and timing that alien tactical doctrine couldn't anticipate. Human unpredictability turned into a weapon more effective than any plasma rifle. The second sentry turned just as Bishop's blade found his throat, alien eyes widening in surprise and recognition. The guard's weapon never cleared its holster, his training unable to compensate for human speed and adaptability. Corridor 7 clear, Bishop confirmed, dragging the bodies into a maintenance closet where they wouldn't be found for hours. Continuing infiltration. Korig's electronic infiltration had opened pathways throughout the station, security doors recognizing their forged credentials as Bishop advanced through areas no alien force had reached. Internal defenses are adapting to your presence, the young hacker warned, but they're still calibrated for alien infiltration patterns. Bishop smiled behind his face mask, feeling the predatory satisfaction that made human soldiers legendary across known space. Then they're not ready for what's coming. His movements carried him deeper into the station's heart, following paths only human ingenuity could discover. Major Cross's tactical display exploded with hostile contacts as Nexus Station's defensive AI finally recognized the threat penetrating its corridors. Warning klaxons screamed through the facility's metal arteries, bathing everything in pulsing red light. Contact front. Bishop's voice crackled through the comm as plasma fire erupted from concealed positions ahead. He rolled behind a structural support as superheated gas seared the air where he'd been standing. Multiple hostiles, prepared positions, overlapping fields of fire. Cross's command interface painted the tactical situation in brutal clarity, 12 defenders in a prepared kill zone. Heavy weapons trained on the single approach corridor that alien forces would be forced to use. Yamato, can you get angle on those positions? Negative, the sniper replied from her concealment 3 levels below. Too much structural interference, but I can see their backup positions through the external viewports. Her rifle's scope tracked movement through transparent aluminum barriers most snipers would consider impossible shots. Bishop's carbine chattered in controlled bursts, each shot placed with surgical precision between enemy positions. Unlike alien weapons designed for overwhelming firepower, his rifle delivered exactly the force needed, no more, no less. They're using standard defensive doctrine, channeling attackers into predetermined kill zones. Then we don't follow their script, Cross decided, her tactical mind already adapting to the changing situation. Korig, I need access to their environmental systems. Bishop, prepare breaching charges for the maintenance level. Korig's fingers flew across his interface while plasma bolts sizzled overhead. Accessing life support controls now. His infiltration programs dove deeper into the station's infrastructure, finding pathways alien hackers would never recognize. I can vent atmosphere from selected sections, but it'll take 90 seconds to cycle. Cross smiled grimly as the plan crystallized in her mind. Do it. Bishop, blow us a new door in 60 seconds. The demolitions expert armed shaped charges with mechanical precision, his scarred hands steady despite the combat raging around them. Charges set. This is going to be loud. Loud is good, Cross replied, watching her team's positions on the tactical display. Yamato, prepare to engage backup positions on my mark. The station's defensive AI couldn't adapt fast enough to human unpredictability. Its programming expected alien forces to continue their frontal assault, following military doctrine that had remained unchanged for centuries. Instead, Ghost Company dissolved like smoke, using tactics no alien mind could anticipate. Korig's hack succeeded just as Bishop's charges detonated, the dual assault overwhelming defensive systems designed to counter single-vector threats. Atmosphere howled out of the ruptured corridor as emergency bulkheads slammed shut, dividing the defenders and destroying their coordinated fields of fire. Breach successful, Bishop reported, his voice muffled by his sealed combat suit. Moving through maintenance level. Cross followed her demolitions expert through the smoking gap, her rifle tracking targets in the swirling atmosphere. The alien defenders struggled with emergency protocols never designed for human tactical flexibility, their rigid training unable to compensate for rapidly changing conditions. Yamato's rifle spoke from her distant position, hypervelocity rounds punching through the station's hull to take defenders in their supposedly safe backup positions. 3 targets eliminated. Remaining hostiles are falling back to secondary defensive lines. Cross's tactical network painted the enemy retreat in real time, showing confused alien forces trying to regroup according to doctrine that no longer applied. They're moving to defensive position Charlie, she observed. Standard fallback procedure. Which puts them exactly where we want them, Bishop added, his voice carrying grim satisfaction. He emerged from the maintenance level behind the alien positions, his carbine finding targets with methodical precision. The defenders found themselves caught between human forces that refused to follow expected patterns, their carefully prepared positions turned into death traps by tactics they couldn't counter. Cross advanced through the chaos, her rifle barking controlled bursts that dropped targets with surgical efficiency. Corridor secured, she announced, stepping over alien bodies that would never understand what had killed them. Continuing toward the inner sections. Korig's electronic warfare painted pathways deeper into the station, security systems convinced that maintenance drones were performing routine inspections even as Ghost Company carved through defensive positions. I'm reading heavy concentrations ahead, he warned. Looks like they're massing for a major defensive stand. Cross checked her ammunition and smiled coldly. Good, let them come. Her tactical mind was already 3 moves ahead, planning adaptations that would turn alien military strength into weakness. The gauntlet continued as Ghost Company advanced through corridors designed to channel attackers into kill zones, each defensive position overcome through human adaptability and individual initiative. Where alien forces would have smashed themselves against prepared defenses, the humans flowed around obstacles like water finding cracks in stone. Bishop's demolitions opened new routes through the station's structure, while Yamato's rifle reached out to eliminate threats that thought themselves safe behind cover. Korig's electronic infiltration confused defensive systems and provided real-time intelligence that no alien force had ever possessed. Cross coordinated her team's advance with the precision of a conductor, directing a symphony of violence, each member's specialized skills combining into something greater than the sum of its parts. The station's defenders fell back in confusion, their rigid doctrine unable to cope with human tactical flexibility. Private Dante Korig pressed himself against the armored bulkhead separating Ghost Company from Nexus Station's command center, his portable terminal painting the chamber beyond in ghostly blue wireframe. The room pulsed with electronic activity, defense coordination, communication networks, and the AI core that had defeated 5 alien mercenary teams. Reading 12 hostiles inside, he whispered into his comm, fingers dancing across haptic interfaces that responded to human neural patterns. Heavy cyber warfare defenses, military-grade encryption, and something else. His young face creased with concentration as unfamiliar code structures scrolled past. Their security AI is learning, adapting in real time. Cross's voice crackled through the tactical network. What kind of adaptations? Korig's infiltration programs probed the station's electronic defenses like surgical instruments, finding pathways alien hackers would never recognize. It's not just responding to our presence, it's anticipating our moves. Someone taught it to think like humans. His revelation sent ice through the team's collective spine. Bishop positioned his final breaching charges while Yamato's rifle covered approaches from her sniper nest 2 levels above. How long do you need? The demolitions expert asked, his scarred hands steady despite the implications of Korig's discovery. 90 seconds to crack their primary systems, Korig replied, his portable AI engaging in electronic combat with defenses that had been specifically designed to counter human tactical thinking. But Major, this isn't standard alien security, someone's been studying us. Cross's tactical mind processed the intelligence while her rifle covered the corridor behind them. Mordan's been learning from every human force he's encountered. We're not the first humans he's faced. The crime lord's reputation suddenly made terrible sense. He'd been preparing for exactly this moment. Korig's hack penetrated the first layer of defenses, his programs mimicking electronic signatures that alien systems would never recognize. I'm in their communication network, reading defensive positions, guard rotations, and, Major, the hostages are here, holding cell adjacent to the command center. The tactical situation crystallized in Cross's mind with lethal clarity. How many guards on the hostages? 4, Korig answered, his infiltration diving deeper into the station's electronic nervous system. But they're not standard security. Reading enhanced cybernetics, military-grade augmentations, combat drug cocktails. His analysis painted a disturbing picture of the opposition waiting in the command center. Bishop armed his charges with mechanical precision. Enhanced or not, they bleed like everyone else. Yamato's sniper scope tracked movement through the command center's reinforced viewports, confirming 12 hostiles, 4 on hostage detail, reading heavy weapons, powered armor, and coordinated defensive positions. Her professional assessment carried grim respect for their opponent's capabilities. Korig's electronic assault reached the AI core, his programs engaging in cyber warfare that resembled chess more than traditional hacking. Their AI is good, he admitted, sweat beading his forehead despite the station's chill. But it thinks in patterns. Human patterns, but patterns nonetheless. Cross made the tactical decision that would define the mission's outcome. Can you turn their own systems against them? Already working on it, Korig replied, his fingers flying across interfaces that responded to human intuition rather than alien logic. If I can convince their security network that the command center is under external attack. His infiltration programs painted false signatures throughout the station's sensor grid, creating phantom threats that drew defensive resources away from the real assault. The AI core responded exactly as programmed, deploying countermeasures against enemies that existed only in Korig's imagination. Security systems are cycling offline for defensive reconfiguration, he announced with fierce satisfaction. Window opening in 30 seconds. Bishop's charges detonated with surgical precision, the blast shaped to breach the armored bulkhead without endangering the hostages beyond. Smoke and debris filled the corridor as Ghost Company poured through the gap, their weapons finding targets with lethal efficiency. The command center erupted in chaos as Cross's tactical network coordinated the assault. Her rifle barked controlled bursts, while Bishop's carbine chattered death from a different angle. Yamato's sniper rifle reached through the reinforced viewports to eliminate threats that thought themselves safe behind cover. Korig's electronic warfare crippled defensive systems faster than enhanced reflexes could compensate, turning the station's own technology against its defenders. Their AI is fighting me, he reported through gritted teeth, but I'm rewriting its priorities faster than it can adapt. Cross advanced through the smoke, her rifle tracking enhanced opponents whose cybernetic augmentations made them faster and stronger than baseline humans. Engage at will, she ordered, her tactical mind already calculating angles and opportunities in the swirling chaos. The battle for the fortress heart had begun. Human adaptability matched against alien enhancement in a contest that would determine the fate of 12 hostages and Ghost Company's legendary reputation. Major Cross's tactical display painted a nightmare scenario as Nexus Station's defensive AI recovered from Korig's electronic assault and began coordinating a station-wide counterattack. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut throughout the facility while defense turrets emerged from concealed positions, their targeting systems finally recognizing the human threat. Move, 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 Cross shouted, her rifle providing covering fire as Bishop shepherded the freed hostages toward their extraction route. 12 civilians stumbled through smoke and debris, their faces showing the psychological toll of captivity under Vex Mordan's hospitality. Among them, Lyanna Thex moved with aristocratic composure despite the plasma fire searing the air around them. Bishop's demolitions expertise carved new paths through the station's superstructure, shaped charges opening emergency routes that no alien tactical manual would recognize. Charges set, he called over the howling atmosphere as another bulkhead gave way to human ingenuity. Korig, I need those defensive turrets offline. The young hacker's fingers flew across his portable interface, while plasma bolts sparked off the metal around him. Working on it, but their AI is learning faster than I can adapt. His infiltration programs fought a running battle through the station's electronic nervous system, each victory temporary as alien countermeasures evolved in real time. Cross's carbine chattered in controlled bursts as enhanced guards rounded the corner ahead, their cybernetic augmentations making them faster and deadlier than baseline defenders. Yamato, I need covering fire on the main corridor. Copy, the sniper replied from her position 3 levels below. Her rifle's hypervelocity rounds punched through structural barriers to find targets that believed themselves safe behind cover. 3 hostiles down, but they're coordinating better than before. Cross recognized the tactical shift. Mordan's forces were adapting to human unpredictability, using the same flexibility that made Ghost Company legendary. They're learning from us, she realized, her tactical mind processing implications while her rifle found targets. Falling back to extraction point Alpha. Bishop ushered the hostages through another improvised breach, his scarred hand surprisingly gentle as he guided traumatized civilians through twisted metal and smoking debris. Extraction point Alpha is compromised, he reported, his voice steady despite the chaos erupting around them. Reading defensive positions covering all primary routes. Korig's electronic warfare painted the station's defensive grid in real time, showing coordinated positions that would shred any conventional extraction attempt. They're using our own tactics against us, he announced with grudging respect. Overlapping fields of fire, coordinated movement, adaptive positioning. Cross smiled grimly as she adapted to the changing tactical situation. Then, we use something they can't adapt to pure human stubbornness. Her decision crystallized with lethal clarity. Bishop, how much explosive do we have left? The demolitions expert's scarred face showed understanding. Enough to bring down half this level. His hands moved across remaining charges with surgical precision, but the blast will be visible across 3 star systems. Good, Cross replied, her rifle finding another enhanced guard. Let everyone know what happens when you mess with human civilians. Her tactical network painted the station's structural weak points, showing where carefully placed charges could cripple Mordan's fortress. Yamato's rifle spoke from her distant position, each shot eliminating threats with surgical precision. Reading massive defensive buildup between us and extraction. They're throwing everything at us. Cross checked her ammunition and made the call that would define their reputation across known space. All units, prepare for fighting withdrawal. We're blowing our way out. Her tactical mind calculated routes and timings while her rifle kept enhanced opponents at bay. Bishop's charges went off in sequence, each explosion precisely calculated to weaken structural supports without bringing the station down on their heads. Metal screamed and atmosphere howled as Nexus Station's superstructure began coming apart under human demolition's expertise. Hull breach in Sector 7, Korig reported, his infiltration programs finally overwhelming the station's defensive AI through sheer electronic persistence. Emergency systems are cycling offline. I have temporary control of life support. Cross herded the hostages through the widening gaps in the station's hull, her rifle providing covering fire against defenders struggling with emergency protocols never designed for human tactical flexibility. Yamato, fall back to the extraction ship. The sniper's final shots eliminated the last organized resistance as Nexus Station began tearing itself apart under the combined assault of human ingenuity and explosive expertise. Extraction complete, Cross announced, watching the fortress that had defeated 5 alien mercenary teams crumble in their wake. Major Cross settled into the command chair aboard Ghost Company's operations vessel, watching Nexus Station's death throes through the main viewport. The fortress that had been Vex Mordan's impregnable stronghold now tumbled through space as an expanding debris field, its superstructure torn apart by precisely placed charges. Mission status report, she requested, her voice carrying professional satisfaction despite the exhaustion pulling at her enhanced features. Sergeant Bishop looked up from his equipment check, scarred hands moving with mechanical precision as he inventoried remaining demolitions. Objective accomplished with 0 friendly casualties. 12 hostages recovered, including primary target Lyanna Thex. His grim smile held the satisfaction of a job completed according to specification. Corporal Yamato cleaned her rifle with the reverent attention that had made her legendary across 3 sectors. Confirmed hostile casualties exceed 40% of station complement. Remaining defenders evacuated to emergency pods before final structural collapse. Her professional assessment carried grudging respect for opponents who had fought well despite their ultimate defeat. Private Korig's fingers still danced across his terminal, downloading intelligence from the station's dying electronic systems. Recovered complete files on Mordan's operation client lists, financial networks, and defensive specifications. His young face showed fierce pride in accomplishments that would enhance Ghost Company's reputation throughout known space. Cross activated the ship's communication array, preparing to contact their employer while the last debris from Nexus Station drifted past their viewports. Trade Union Executive Vex, this is Major Cross of Ghost Company. Your daughter is safe and returning home. The elderly executive's holographic image flickered to life, showing a face lined with worry and relief. Major Cross, words cannot express my gratitude. 5 mercenary companies failed where humans succeeded. His voice carried the weight of political power and personal emotion. Cross maintained professional composure despite the satisfaction warming her tactical mind. Ghost Company delivers results, sir. Your daughter showed remarkable courage throughout the ordeal. Behind her, Lyanna Thex spoke quietly with the other recovered hostages, her aristocratic bearing intact despite weeks of captivity. The young woman's eyes met Cross's for a moment, conveying gratitude that needed no words. The communication concluded with transfer authorizations that would fund Ghost Company's operations for the next standard year. Cross watched the credits flow into their accounts, payment for services that no alien force had been able to provide. Major, Bishop said, his scarred features showing professional curiosity. We've already received 3 new contract offers. Word travels fast in mercenary circles. Cross smiled as she reviewed the incoming requests, each offering payment that reflected Ghost Company's enhanced reputation. Schedule briefings for all 3. And Bishop, she looked at her demolitions expert with the confidence of a commander whose team had just accomplished the impossible. Make sure they know what happened to the last stronghold that thought it was impregnable. The operations vessel turned away from the expanding debris field, carrying Ghost Company toward their next mission, while the wreckage of Vex Mordan's fortress provided mute testimony to human tactical superiority. Throughout known space, alien mercenary companies would study the recordings, trying to understand how 4 humans had succeeded where 5 experienced teams had failed. Cross settled back in her command chair, already planning their next operation while the stars wheeled past. Ghost Company's reputation would precede them now, the human mercenaries who could accomplish anything, regardless of the odds. In a galaxy where alien forces dominated military thinking, that reputation was worth more than any payment. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, consider subscribing for more journeys. Share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for the next adventure.